Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our spoiler-free review for What If Season 2. You thought the story was over, but it was only just beginning. Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. My name is Nate, and I'll be your guide through this spoiler-free review for What If Season 2. A very merry thanks to our friends at Disney Plus Canada and Marvel for gifting us this season early for review. If you're joining us for the first time, we are Geekcentric, a podcast focusing on the world of movies, TV shows, video games, and all things Geekcentric. Joining me for today's review from across the cosmos, we have one hero whose legacy is vast and triumphant. But what if we saw a different cut, an edit maybe lost to time? We're joined by Justin, the lens-wearing, always-watching Lawrence.
That is an epic name. I'd like that on a business card, I think. It kind of makes me sound like a creep, but you know, the Watcher is a bit of a creep. Let's just say. He's a voyeur. He's a voyeur.
What do you think?
Sure.
I mean, dude, what do you? He's probably seen some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
But I also think he's polite enough that he's like, I'm not. I shouldn't be.
I shouldn't be looking at that.
Yeah, leaves the room, sort of thing. But no, yeah, he's definitely iconic. And he has a presence to him that is unmatched. And
I mean.
As I'm sure we'll talk about, it gets pretty meta at times in regards to his character, and it did in the first season as well, right? So,
Jeffrey Wright, man, so good.
Yeah,
Justin, I am as happy as a Hogan that we're getting to talk about this series as our last review of 2023. After our last galactic outing from Zack Snyder was a bit of a bust. We are here as in olden days, happy golden days of 2021, back again with What If, animated Marvel, dude. We're in our element. Yeah. How great is it to be back with this show?
Fantastic. It's this, I think, to recap what happened in season 1 and how we felt. I wasn't necessarily as hot on how things wrapped for season 1 of What If. And I think a lot of the issues that I had in season 1 are very much course corrected and handled in this season 2 with an intention to story and kind of having fun with the history of the MCU that we know and love.
And our history too,
yeah,
like some
and
elements
our
from
too.
our own history
Absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
And other cultures' history, and absolutely. Now, Marvel and Disney certainly waited until the last minute to give us these screeners, but we're professionals. We Hulk smashed through them all just for you, our lovely listeners.
All 9 episodes.
9 episodes.
Thank you to Disney Studios Canada and Marvel for being so kind as to gifting us all 9.
This will be completely spoiler-free. We will have a spoiler-filled discussion dropping once episode 9 drops on December 30th, and that's going to be really fun to talk about and go into, because there's some really cool stuff that, like, literally we're just champing at the bit. I never know what the phrase is there.
Chancing. We're chancing on the bit.
That's it. Okay, great. We're chancing at the bit to be able to talk about some of those things, but we will not. We will be good, and we will make sure that you are just, this will probably mostly just be a way to get hyped about anything you haven't seen from this season so far. So let's get into the synopsis for season 2. Season 2 of What If continues the journey as the Watcher, voiced by Jeffrey Wright, guides viewers through the vast multiverse, introducing brand new and familiar faces from the MCU. The series questions, revisits, and twists classic Marvel Cinematic Universe moments with an incredible voice cast that includes a host of stars who who reprise their iconic roles. Season 2 features fan favorite characters this season, like Nebula, Hela, and Happy Hogan. And the episodes are directed by Brian Andrews, and Stephen Frank, and written by A.C. Bradley, Matthew Chauncey. Oh, Chauncing at the bit. There we go. Matthew Chauncey and Ryan Little. This series is executive produced by Brad Winderbaum, Kevin Feige, Louis Desposito, Victoria Alonso, Brian Andrews, and of course, A.C. Bradley. And it begins streaming on December 22nd. By the time you listen to this, I don't know, time is in the vast multiverse. It works so mysteriously. Only the watcher knows. So you might have already seen an episode or two by the time you might be listening to this. But they are doing 9 episodes nightly for 9 nights. And that is a lovely little gift each day. So, let's get into this, Justin. I think I want to kick things off. I think we should definitely talk about the visuals in this series. I think this season, obviously, it's maintaining the look of the first season, but either I'm more used to it, or maybe it's just in the second season, like these animators have really just sort of come into their own. But something about this second season just looks gorgeous. The 2D 3D cell shaded look, it just feels like these animators are more confident in the look and style of the show, and we're getting some really gorgeous sequences this season. I especially want to shout out the incredible backgrounds again this time around. They're so painterly, and then in some moments there's just such a huge scale to them, and I loved it. I think the lighting in this season especially, I think, got an upgrade from last season, or at least it feels that way. What do you think?
Well, I think to your point, I agree with you. I think the style is definitely consistent from last season. Last season had that 3D, 2D style for sure, but it also looked very rotoscoped. Like they
Mm-hmm.
were taking scenes from the movies and stuff like that and basically drawing over and animating with their own style over top. Very like very Richard Linklater in
Yeah,
his style
Scanner
of movies.
Darkly-esque. Yeah.
Scanner Darkly-esque, right? Like very, very much. But obviously in some sequences they are animating actual characters. And you're right, like they've totally stepped it up in terms of just sequencing and the way the blocking is. There's at times where the sequences in some of these episodes feel so cinematic. There's such a freedom in animation. There's such a way to explore where the camera is, and that's on full display in some of these episodes. The way the camera moves through and the way they've designed the sequencing to sort of mimic live action to a certain degree. It's compelling. Episode 4, Iron Man crashes into Grandmaster. The episode that we were supposed to have gotten in season 1,
Mm-hmm.
we're getting here, and you can see why that episode didn't make it into season 1, because the level of choreography and the level of blocking that had to go into that episode to make it work, it's stunning. It's like some great sequencing, and you see it throughout the rest of the episodes as well. There is more of an investment here for action, for sort of cinematic spectacle to kind of have its place in this animated medium. It's so great.
Well, and I feel like even to another aspect of it as well is the character design. Like I love the look of all of these characters, but I think in season 1 we had a lot of fun with they gave us the zombified version of these
Mhm.
characters, which was awesome to see. And then in this season, we're getting a completely different style of pretty much our entire cast, and it's cool to see not only the twist on the characters themselves, but their individual wardrobes as well. And there's some really really fun stuff in episode 8 that I just think is incredible in terms of the costuming and just sort of the way that they sort of translate characters into a different time is so much fun.
Mhm. Yeah, I think again, I think that there's to the point that you made earlier, that there's more confidence in this season. That's so true. I think that you see it in every little aspect of everything that they've done, even in the way the stories are structured and the way that they sort of stay focused and yet hint at other things that are on the fray. I love that. I think that that's that's to me is again one of the strengths from season 2 is just having that sense of cohesiveness, that confidence that just runs through all 9 of these episodes.
And there's so many like, damn, that's cool moments.
Yeah,
Like, there's
fuck
so
yeah.
many moments. There's too many moments to count. It's gonna be hard when we do talk about this in spoiler filled capacity, because we're just gonna want to talk about everything. But I think some of the stuff in terms of visually that really hit me the most, I think for me it was the use of color
Mhm.
throughout this season. Felt very it just felt a lot more, poppy. I think there was a lot more colorfulness, a
There's a
lot more
vividness to it, yeah.
vivid purples,
Yeah.
pinks, and I noticed it mostly when it would come to explosions and
Mhm.
the smoke that would be
Mhm.
left behind, and that smoke looking very like it's straight out of a 2D animated
Yeah.
project. But then to add that color in and to use that smoke to sort of fill the room after an explosion, it just was, oh, it's so cool. It's so good looking. So
Yeah.
good looking.
Yeah. They've definitely they've got a signature look for this series. It'll be interesting to see if this look can be carried on into anything else in future projects, because by the looks of it, the upcoming Spider-Man, as well as the X-Men '97 series that's coming out, those are obviously very different in terms of style in comparison to What If. So I haven't seen anything for the Wakanda series that's coming out. Eyes of Wakanda, if I'm not mistaken.
Eyes of
Um,
Wakanda is what they're
yeah,
calling it. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm not. I don't know if that look is going to translate, but I'm also okay if it doesn't. If it stays here, you know what I mean. And if there's spin-offs from this show, like I know the zombie show, the Marvel Zombie series is very much kind of, I think, being treated as a spin-off from What If. So if we see that animation style trickle into there, what's that going to look like? And again, these animators, they deserve all the flowers for what they did for this season. And when you see all of these episodes, and like you said, Nate, there's so many like, holy shit, this is
It's
cool
so cool.
moments. This is awesome. Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe it. Like, again, a lot of that has to do with what these animators and have done.
Well, and I think we also got to talk about this voice cast. I think
Oh my god.
it's just as good in season 2. I think there's some new additions as well. That when I heard them, I was just as shocked to hear the voice actor for that character as I was to see the character in the show. And I think the idea of like there was again just as many moments of me going, "Holy crap, that's so cool!" There was wait, is that they actually got insert massive Marvel star here. And it's just crazy to me that, and again, I know this is Marvel proper, but it's still, to me, it's really impressive that, again, when we talk about the confidence of the creators of this series, that we're able to get some of these really big names.
Sure, sure. I honestly believe that some of the big names, I was great to hear their voices. Hella's in an episode,
Yeah.
and it was great to hear Kate Blanchett didn't sound like Kate Blanchett at times. I thought that they were trying to fool me, and I think it goes back to what we were talking about, even maybe in the spoiler free or maybe in the spoiler filled, but just the way actors' voice translate into voice acting. It doesn't always work, so
Hmm.
I wasn't like blown away, but I do agree. I can't believe they got certain people to come back to
Hmm.
be their characters, and that's really great. But I gotta shout out Mick Wingert, who is Tony Stark.
Bro,
This guy, if there's an imitation award for like best imitation,
he's killing it.
this guy deserves the award,
Yeah.
because at times when he is Tony Stark, it is like they don't need Robert Downey Jr. anymore. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, he's literally that. And the same goes for, I believe his name is Josh Keaton, who
Hmm.
plays Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
There's times when he definitely doesn't sound like Chris Evans, but for the most part, he sticks to landing. These two voice actors portraying well-known actors,
Fantastic.
it's fantastic. It was great. Like, Tony's an MVP, right, of this season, and I think that Mick brings such the right amount of Robert Downey like, he's doing a Robert Downey Jr. impersonation. He's not really doing a Tony Stark
I mean, they're
impersonation.
one and the
Well,
same,
I
but
get, no,
for
I know what you
sure.
mean, but like,
Yeah.
even just mannerisms, it is so matched to what Robert Downey would bring. It's fantastic.
So good. I also want to shout out, I think the voice that I was happiest to hear And again, it took me a little bit of time to sort of realize that I was hearing her voice. But that has to be Devery Jacobs, who,
Yeah.
we're going to get to see in the upcoming Echo series, also from Marvel. Justin, you and I know her best as Alora Dannon in Reservation Dogs, but in this series, she plays Cohorti, who is a young Mohawk woman on a quest to discover her power after the Tesseract falls to Earth in a time before the colonization of America. And honestly, it's such a phenomenal episode. There's no English in the entire episode, and I think the steps that Marvel is taking, in terms of continuing, that level of representation, and the fact that we're getting a brand new hero from the world of What If, I think helps for me to cement this season as something really special. And Devery is outstanding in the episode, but I think it's just so cool that we're getting this series that's, yes, it's doing stuff with everything we know from the moments from MCU past, but the fact that we're getting a wholly original character out of it is just so cool.
Well, that whole storyline feels like it's a branched timeline, if you will. I think for most of the stories, it feels like we get to see, again, that sort of what if this didn't happen, or this happens instead, and or this person, that continuity from season one. Whereas, with the episode with Cohorti, I loved that episode. It's the most original episode, I think, out of the nine.
Absolutely.
In that it really does have its own sort of personality, its own sort of character, and it's not just because of the fact that there's no English. It's just the way the story is handled. It
Hmm.
feels like it's handled with a sense of attention to the detail of the Mohawk culture.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's a in the episode itself, there is like a sort of a thing, that a splash page that comes up that talks about the fact that they worked with
Yep,
folks from the
they were
Mohawk
grateful for
community,
the opportunity. Yeah,
which is so cool. Now, in terms of story, again, we are staying spoiler free. This is more of an anthology series, but I think the stories we get are just as fun, if not more fun than season one. They're just as dynamic, and I think, like you were saying, Justin, last season, there were some moments where we felt an inconsistency in terms of some episodes not landing as well. I think back to Party Thor, and how down we were on Party Thor. Party Thor was a fun time, but it just felt so out of place. And I think for the most part, that's addressed this season. Like, I don't think there was any moment moving from episode to episode in these 9 episodes that I ever felt like, oh, why are we here? There was never a moment where I wasn't just as excited, at the end of an episode as I was for any other episode. So I think the coolest thing is, like, whether it be a specific actor or character appearance, I was just smiling the entire time. And so even if there were some lines of dialogue that maybe felt like they didn't fully work, you then, I get to see the Grand Master, and it's Jeff Goldblum, and all of a sudden I'm a smiling, happy Marvel fan again. Like, it's not hard to make Marvel fans happy, and they know how to do it. So even if there were some minor moments in terms of the dialogue writing that sort of felt like, I don't really understand where that was going or what that meant, it's okay, because you're sort of instantly pulled into something that's going to make you smile, or at least it did for me.
yeah. I feel like everything about this season two had me smiling. My biggest gripe with last season is the sort of rush to the end. It didn't feel like a nice gradual build, even though that's what they were trying to do. I felt like by sort of seed planting the different heroes, and then suddenly, boom, they're the guardians of the multiverse. It just all felt very rushed, and yeah, I didn't feel like that with season two. I think that there's episodes that tie together in really interesting ways, and then there's episodes that don't matter, right? And they're
Hmm.
literally just an anthology episode of a what if. And I like that balance between that. And we were getting that in season one, but the problem with season one was that we should have gotten probably a few more episodes that really did build up to this Guardians of the multiverse moment that we didn't get. And I
Yeah.
don't mean just the missing Gamora episode. I mean, like, just more time to kind of build that out. Here everything just feels so natural. Season 2 feels so natural in terms of its flow, its consistency, the way they've staggered these episodes, where they've placed episodes that don't necessarily matter, or that, kind of have that party Thor vibe where it's just like pulling you off. I think that in season 1, that might have been like episode 7, one of the last 3 episodes of the season. And maybe that should have been like episode 3. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It didn't need to be there. So I think that there's a sense of balance of how these episodes are laid out, from episode 1 to 9, that really gives a very digestible, very enjoyable experience of the larger story.
But I think the coolest thing is that if you are following along from episode to episode, even if there are episodes that are again we're sort of talking around the fact that there are some episodes that connect and some that don't, but even the ones that don't, that do take you kind of on
Yeah,
a
they're
fully separate
amazing.
adventure, they're phenomenal. But not only that, there are little instances or little things in them that do still inform you, at least, or give you something to recognize or to catch in the other episodes. And I really, really love that. Now, so obviously, again, spoiler free, I kind of wanted to sort of wrap up our conversation and ask you, Justin, and I'll say it for myself as well. What is, if you can pick one episode that you're most
Ooh.
excited for Marvel fans to see? If anyone's listening to this, they've gotten to this point in the spoiler free review, and you get ready for this episode. What episode do you think it
Ooh.
is?
I feel like I can't choose just one, but maybe I can
It's
give you
tough.
my top 3,
Mm,
which would probably be episode 4, as I
okay.
already spoke about, and it's the Iron Man Gamora episode that we didn't get.
Hmm.
Episode 6
Yep.
is absolutely outstanding. And then, it's a toss up between episode 8 and episode 9. I think the two are just incredible episodes. It's like those these are the ones that I think Marvel fans, and even just if you're a fan of just really great storytelling, like, you're
Hmm.
going to enjoy these episodes. In my mind, those are the ones. And I'm also really interested to hear just the dialogue from fans in and around these episodes. That's the most exciting part, is that I think this series, in a lot of ways, there's been a bit of a downbeat to the MCU.
Hmm.
I think this really does close out the MCU for 2023 on a high
Really
note.
strong.
Yeah, on a really high note, and it also just embraces so much that we know and love of the MCU, and it's done with style. Like, you can't really you can't really fault it. So, yeah, I would say, I know you asked for one, but yeah, 4, 6, and 8 or 9. It's up to you. But I'm excited for fans to see these episodes. They're going to be great.
Well, I'm a sucker for Christmas specials. Episode 3.
Oh
Get
yeah, of
ready. You can
course.
unwrap
Episode
that
3. Yeah,
early on the 24th as a
yeah,
lovely Christmas Eve gift
yeah.
from Marvel and from this studio. What if Happy Hogan saved Christmas? You're gonna get Die Hard vibes, and it's such a good, fun time.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of my favorite things about this series, is that it's just so much
Fun.
fun. I also, you already shouted out episode 6, so I'll go ahead and shout out episode 7, which is just phenomenal. I won't say too much about it, other than, yes, Hela is in it, and it's, to me, I love what they did with that character, and we just, the fact that we get more of that character is really, really fun. And then, yeah, dude, episode 9, I think there's a moment in episode 9 that I obviously will not talk about, but I think it's going to set the Marvel internet fandom ablaze, and I can't wait to talk about it in a spoiler-filled capacity. So those are kind of the 3 moments that I'm excited for fans to see the most. Justin, let's get to our final thoughts and rating for this show, which we're going to be rating on a scale of 1 to 5 holiday watchers. A, a holiday watcher. That's like a watcher that's just watching
It's a
holidays.
holiday. That's a watcher that's wearing a Christmas hat. Of
That's it.
course.
That's
There
all
you
it
go.
is.
Yeah, I think he would look good in a Christmas hat. To be honest, he's got
Yeah.
a lot of circumference head that he could
He's got a big
benefit.
bald
So,
head. He can fit that hat pretty well.
yeah. Look, as you're saying, this is a great continuation of the fresh, bold take that the MCU has with their own history. Every episode feels like an episode that just highlights the infinite possibilities of what animation can bring to the MCU. The visuals are so top notch. Like they're so good. Again, continuing the look and feel of that 2D, 3D rotoscope style of season 1 and bringing it into season 2 and amping it up. These action sequences are insane. The fight choreography is top
Oh,
notch. Fight choreography is so good it makes past MCU movies of fight choreography look lame. Like
mhm.
it's crazy how good it is, and it really is a testament to the power of what animation can do.
Yep.
Right? There's just that possibility of doing whatever you can in that medium that goes beyond anything that live action can do. Um, I enjoyed my time with every single one of these episodes. I don't think that there's anything particularly negative about any of them. I think they, from start to finish, this season too is a pure, joyful, fun ride, a perfect gift to the MCU fans, and like I was saying before, a great way to close out 2023 with so much negativity in and around the MCU, uncertainty too with everything that's been going on,
Mhm.
and I think that this brings home a strong case that there's still a lot of strength in Marvel Studios and the projects that they're doing. And hopefully, with 2024 and their future movies, they can kind of wrap their head around what's working for them, and not just necessarily pushing quantity over quality. Like I think that's been such a detriment, because this is quality.
Yep.
This is quality, and
Yeah.
and that's why I love it. So I'm a sucker for animated series. I'm a sucker for anything MCU. So yeah, I'm going to be giving this a 5 out of 5. Holiday watchers.
Ho ho ho
Ho
ho ho.
ho, motherfucker.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson is in this show. That's amazing. There are a few sort of things that we recognized in our review for season 1, and obviously I can't bring them up here for spoiler concerns, but they address those concerns and more with this season, and I honestly believe that this season is an improvement in every way. It's more cohesive, as we said, but it still takes things further, and I think there could have been some things that they did here that may have been sort of seen as a mistake in season 1, but here they managed to pull it off, and I think it's awesome that in a 9 episode run we can still get silly moments like the Christmas Eve episode, or basically any moment with Jeff Goldblum, and then we can also get incredible depth. Like the episode with Cohorty, with Devery Jacobs, and then we can get Marvel fan fiction dreams with characters that you wouldn't expect to see together,
Mhm.
and we get them all the same. I think it really feels like stories that you would want to explore with your action figures as a kid. Just where you randomly toss a bunch of figures in a bag on the way to your friend's house, and this is what you have to play with, and you make up these stories. But obviously, these are much better written than at least when I was a kid.
Mhm.
This series is a delight, and I'm enjoying the idea that people will get to experience a new episode every day for 9 days straight.
Yeah,
Um,
such a good format.
it's so cool. It's
Yeah.
as much as it is maybe a bit detrimental to content creators in terms of how they would usually like to cover stuff. I think it works really well, and it's just such a nice little thing to sort of at the end of the year be like, hey, it's a new day. I have a new half-hour story that I can enjoy. Maybe during the morning with my kids, or just on my own as I'm for me at least. I think the idea that you're sort of going to get to, as I said, unwrap a new episode each day just adds to the word that comes to mind for me for this entire season, which again is fun. It is just so much fun. It's my favorite F word. So yeah, I'm as happy as a Hogan to gift this season a very solid 5 out of 5 holiday watchers. This will be the last time I say this year on the podcast, um, I think. But this is the year for animation. This is the one of the best years of animation that I think we've ever had, in my opinion. We've had some phenomenal
Mhm.
projects in the world of animation, in the medium of animation brought out, and this is such a wonderful way to close out the year
Mhm.
in the world of animation. But that is it for this spoiler-free review of What If Season 2. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts, if you haven't already. And if you want to write into the show with your thoughts on this series or any of the shows or movies we cover, well, I'm going to let Justin now be your guide through the cosmos so he can watch you and find ways to slightly influence your decisions so you can learn how you can reach us.
Yeah, no, I'm not that kind of guy. You
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 can
may
watch
you
them.
yeah, you're in control of your own decisions, and you do your own thing. But we would love to hear from you. So please reach out to us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com, or on X, formerly known as Twitter, at GeekcentricYT, and on Instagram at wearegeekcentric.
I also want to invite you to join our Discord using the link in our description so we can talk about this show as each episode comes out. We'd love to hear what you think of them. We've got a channel open right now, so stop by and let us know what you think. And we can talk about some of the episodes that are already out. Keep in mind, we also have a ton of other episodes covering recent releases with our spoiler-free reviews for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, A24 and Elevation Pictures' The Iron Claw, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, Leave the World Behind, Hayao Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron, and Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. We also have some great interviews out now, like our most recent interviews with the cast of Rebel Moon and director Zack frickin' Snyder. Justin had the opportunity to head to the LA premiere to chat with those folks on finding their characters. And you listen, if you're listening to this, you have to check out these interviews on YouTube, because the one with Zack Snyder looks unbelievable. It looks like Zack Snyder directed it himself
I think he
somehow.
did.
He
I think he
probably
did.
somehow still did.
Yeah.
And it looks so cool. I'm so proud of Justin for these interviews, and I'm stoked that 2023 was the year that Geekcentric got to take part in our first ever Hollywood premiere. So be sure to check out those interviews and all of our interviews either here on your podcast service of choice or over on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. Lastly, we are so happy to be doing what we're doing on this podcast, and that is honestly in huge thanks to you, our incredible listeners. We here at Geekcentric want to wish you all a very happy holidays and a happy new year. We can't wait for what 2024 has in store for us. And we'd love you to join us on that journey together. So continue to tune in, reach out, and we'll see you in the new year. Justin, what if I thanked you for joining me for this spoiler-free review? And as we say in this universe and all universes, love ya.
Peace.
Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho.
Just always have to have the last ho.